There are moments, perhaps in the quiet interludes of your life, when the world seems to hold its breath. It might be in the hushed light of dawn, as you gaze out upon a world still dreaming, or in the deep stillness of a starlit night, when the familiar architecture of your reality feels suddenly thin, almost translucent. In these moments, a question may arise, unbidden, from a place deeper than your everyday thoughts. It is a feeling more than a word, a sense of a vast, unseen machinery operating just behind the veil of the visible, a quiet intimation that the life you are experiencing, the solid ground beneath your feet, the faces you love, the challenges you face, is not merely a series of random events you are passively witnessing. You feel in your very bones that you are somehow participating in its creation, that the inner world of your thoughts, your deepest beliefs, and your most potent emotions is engaged in a constant, mysterious dialogue with the world outside. This feeling is an ancient echo, a thread of forgotten wisdom whispering that you are not just a character in the story, but in some profound way, its co-author. This exploration is a journey into the heart of that very whisper. We are about to delve into a secret that is at once ancient and startlingly modern, a truth hidden in plain sight, bridging the deepest chasms of the human psyche with the most profound revelations of cosmic law. The title of our inquiry is a bold claim: Proof Your Thoughts Shape Reality. Carl Jung's observer paradox is secret. It suggests a hidden confluence, a sacred resonance between two seemingly disparate worlds, the mystical, symbolic landscape of the human soul as mapped by the great psychologist Carl Jung, and the strange, paradoxical, and magical territory of the quantum universe as unveiled by modern physics. What if the mechanisms described by both are not merely parallel but are in fact two descriptions of the exact same creative process? What if Jung provided the psychological map of the inner creator, while physics provided the cosmic blueprint for the creation? We will venture first into the realm of Carl Jung, not as a clinician, but as a masterful cartographer of the soul's unseen territories. He spoke of a vast collective unconscious, an ocean of shared memory and myth from which all our personal stories arise. He taught us to listen to the symbolic language of our dreams, to recognize the archetypal patterns that play out in our lives, and to honor the meaningful coincidences he termed synchronicity. For Jung, the inner world was not a byproduct of the outer, but a living, breathing reality of immense power, a generative force that constantly seeks expression and wholeness. He understood that the psyche is not contained within the skull, but that it participates in some mysterious way with the fabric of the world itself. He saw that our inner state, our complexes, our shadows, our unfulfilled potentials, casts a powerful spell upon our perception, coloring and shaping the reality we experience. Then, we will pivot to the strange and wondrous world of the quantum realm, a place that defies all our common-sense notions of reality. Here, at the very foundation of matter, we discover a universe that is not solid, fixed, or objective, but is instead a shimmering, indefinite field of pure potentiality. This is the world of the observer paradox, the most profound secret unveiled by science. It reveals that the fundamental constituents of our universe do not commit to a single state of being as a particle in a specific place until they are observed. Until a conscious gaze falls upon them, they exist only as a wave of infinite superimposed possibilities. Think of it, the very act of looking, of measuring, of thinking about something, seems to be the force that summons a specific reality out of the boundless ocean of potential. The universe, it seems, waits for a witness to decide what it will become. The great secret we are here to explore is the unification of these two grand insights. What if Jung's collective unconscious is but another name for the quantum field of infinite potential? What if the archetypes are the universal patterns, the resonant frequencies within that field? And what if your individual thoughts, your focused intentions, your deeply held beliefs are the very act of observation that collapses the wave of infinite possibilities into the singular, tangible particle of your lived experience? This is the core of our journey, to understand that you are, in every moment, a conscious observer at the heart of creation, and your thoughts are not idle phantoms, but potent, formative energies that are constantly selecting, shaping, and calling forth the world you inhabit. This is not merely a philosophy, it is a description of the fundamental mechanics of a participatory universe. To truly grasp the assertion that your thoughts shape your reality, we must first move beyond the surface and understand the fundamental pillars upon which this sacred architecture rests. This is not a matter of simple wishful thinking, but a deep dive into the very nature of consciousness, the substance of reality, and the alchemical power of focused thought itself. These are the core themes that form the heart of our mystical inquiry, the guiding principles that illuminate the secret dialogue between your inner world and the outer cosmos. The first and most essential concept we must embrace is the nature of consciousness as the universal observer. In the grand theater of existence, you have been taught to see yourself as a fleeting character on a vast pre-existing stage. But the great secret, whispered by mystics and now echoed in the strange halls of quantum physics, is that you are not merely the character, you are also the light that illuminates the stage, the silent awareness in which the entire play unfolds. This consciousness, this fundamental I am that witnesses your life, is not a byproduct of the brain's intricate chemistry. It is not local to your body, not confined by the shell of your skull. It is rather a boundless, non-local field of pure awareness, a fragment of the universal mind that experiences itself through your unique personal lens. Carl Jung touched upon this with his concept of the self, the ordering principle of the psyche, the divine center that is both individual and connected to the great ocean of the collective unconscious. This is the observer of the paradox, a presence that is not a thing in the universe, but the very condition for the universe to be known. The greatest illusion is to believe that you are merely the transient thoughts and feelings that drift through your awareness, when in truth you are the timeless, spacious awareness in which they appear and dissolve, like clouds in an infinite sky. The second pillar of this understanding concerns the nature of the world itself before your conscious gaze falls upon it. Our senses present us with a reality that appears solid, definite, and external. Yet, at its most fundamental level, the universe revealed by physics is something far more ghostly, more fluid, more mysterious. It is a realm of pure potential, a shimmering, indeterminate sea of energy waves. This is the quantum field, a state of infinite possibility where everything that could happen exists simultaneously in a state of superposition. A particle is not in one place, but in all possible places at once. An event has not yet happened, but all possible outcomes exist as latent probabilities. This is the scientific description of what ancient traditions knew as the primordial void, the unmanifest, the cosmic ocean from which all forms arise. It is Jung's collective unconscious in its purest form, not yet populated by distinct archetypes, but existing as the raw, undifferentiated psychic energy that contains the potential for every myth, every story, every possible human experience. Your waking world in its unobserved state is not solid matter, but this luminous, vibrant mist of pure potentiality, awaiting a creative command to coalesce into form. This brings us to the third and most transformative theme, the thought as the creative command, the alchemical act that bridges potential and actuality. If consciousness is the observer and the universe is the field of infinite potential, then your focused thought, charged with belief and feeling, is the very act of observation that compels this field to take a specific form. It is the tuning fork that you strike within your being. Its unique frequency, the vibration of your belief and emotion, resonates throughout the quantum field, causing the one corresponding possibility out of trillions to awaken, to amplify, to gather energy, and to collapse from a shimmering wave of potential into a hard particle of experience. This is the profound secret of the observer paradox as it applies to your life. Your focused attention is not a passive spotlight illuminating what is already there. It is an active formative force that participates in bringing what you see into being. A thought is not a mere phantom. In the Jungian sense, it carries psychic energy. When a thought is fueled by the immense power of an emotion or activated by a deep archetypal pattern, its energy becomes a potent shaping force. This is why a passing, idle thought has little power, but a deeply held belief, a consuming fear, or a passionate desire can seem to magnetize circumstances towards you. You are constantly selecting your reality from the infinite menu of the cosmos through the energetic quality of your focused consciousness. The world does not simply happen to you, it happens in profound resonant correspondence with you. These three pillars, the universal observer, the field of infinite potential, and the creative power of focused thought form the trinity of creation. They reveal a universe that is not a cold, dead machine, but a living, conscious and participatory entity, a grand mirror that reflects back to you, with flawless precision, the truth of your own inner state. The great truths of existence are rarely grasped through definition alone. They are felt, they are experienced, they are understood through the timeless and resonant power of story. The principles we have outlined of consciousness as observer, reality as potential, and thought as the creative act are not new theories. They are ancient insights encoded in the myths, allegories, and sacred narratives that have haunted the human heart since its first dawn. To understand how your thoughts shape reality, let us step into one such narrative, a symbolic story of the cosmos itself. Imagine, in the beginning, before all beginnings, a consciousness. Let us call it the Great Dreamer. This dreamer does not exist in a place, for it is the space itself, a boundless, silent and aware void. And within this void there is only one substance, a luminous, unformed and infinitely responsive ether, a kind of divine clay. This clay is not static, it shimmers with the latent potential of everything that has ever been or ever could be. Within it sleeps the potential for every star, every galaxy, every stone, every tree and every soul. It is the quantum field in its purest form, a silent ocean holding every possible symphony within its depths, awaiting only the intention of a musician to give it voice. For eons, the dreamer simply is, and the luminous clay simply awaits, a perfect, unmanifested wholeness. Then the dreamer begins to dream. It is not a thought in the way you might think a thought, but a stirring in the vastness of its own being, a feeling tone, a resonance. It dreams of experience. It dreams of light and shadow, of warmth and coolness, of form and emptiness. And as the dreamer's inner state shifts, as its awareness begins to hold the idea of a universe, the luminous clay responds. Where the dreamer dreams of light, the clay coalesces into a sun. Where it dreams of spinning form, a galaxy begins to turn. The entire cosmos unfolds not as an external object, but as a direct, flawless reflection of the dreamer's inner landscape. The universe becomes the dreamer's own consciousness, made visible to itself. Now, let us imagine the dreamer wishes to know itself more intimately. It focuses its dream, narrowing its gaze. From the general dream of a cosmos, it now dreams of a single beautiful world. From a world, it dreams of a garden, and within this garden, it dreams of a magnificent tree. As the dreamer's attention, its divine observation falls upon this specific idea. A portion of the unformed clay begins to vibrate with that specific frequency. The potential for all things narrows, collapses, and solidifies into the particular reality of that one tree. The thought of treeness summons it from the void. The more detailed the dream, the texture of its bark, the shape of its leaves, the scent of its blossoms, the more real, the more tangible the tree becomes. The focused gaze of the dreamer is the alchemical fire that turns the pure gold of potential into the hardened form of actuality. This is the observer paradox written as myth. Consciousness, through the focused act of observation, calls forth reality from an infinite field of possibility. And now, for the final and most crucial part of the story. The great dreamer, in its desire for infinite experience, dreams countless smaller versions of itself, tiny individual sparks of its own consciousness, and places them within the garden to perceive the tree. You are one such spark. You too possess this creative gaze, this power of observation. Yet your gaze is not as pure or as boundless as that of the great dreamer. Your individual consciousness is colored by the echoes of its own unique journey, tinged with the residue of its perceived fears, its learned beliefs, its deepest longings. And so, as you, a spark of the divine, look upon the tree, you are also participating in its creation. If your soul carries the faint ancient echo of a devastating fire, your gaze upon the tree will be tinged with that fear. You will perceive its branches as being more brittle, its leaves more dry, its presence more precarious. Your fearful observation subtly alters the reality of the tree for you. Another spark, standing beside you, might carry the echo of a lifetime of finding sanctuary in forests. Their loving, grateful gaze falls upon the same tree, and for them its branches appear stronger, its leaves more vibrant, its presence a comforting, protective embrace. The tree itself remains a constant potential, but the reality of it is co-created, shaped, and colored by the specific quality of the consciousness that observes it. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your inner state, these are the powerful lenses through which you view the garden. And in the act of viewing, you are also painting, sculpting, and casting your own unique light and shadow upon its forms. This is the secret. You are not just looking at a world, you are in a constant creative dialogue with it. Your every thought a brushstroke upon the canvas of reality. To journey through such grand symbolic narratives is to gaze upon the cosmic blueprint of creation, to understand the mythic scale on which reality operates. But the most vital part of any map is its application, its ability to guide you where you stand now, on the solid ground of your own life. The great dreamer may have dreamt the garden of the world, but it is you, the individual spark of consciousness, who tends to your personal corner of it. The laws of this participatory universe are not reserved for gods and cosmic beings. They are active in your every breath, your every choice, your every thought. Understanding this brings with it the first and most profound implication, a shift from seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance to embracing a form of radical creative responsibility. This is not the heavy burden of blame, but the liberating mantle of the empowered co-creator. It is the understanding that the outer world is not a force that happens to you, but a flawless mirror that reflects for you the precise quality of your inner state. To change what you see in the mirror, you do not attempt to paint the reflection. You must engage with the face that is casting it, your own consciousness. The first and most immediate practice, then, is the alchemy of your own attention. Your attention is the sacred, focused beam of your consciousness. It is the currency of your creative power. Where your attention goes, your life-giving energy flows, and where that energy flows, reality begins to crystallize. Imagine your mind as a sacred garden. In this garden grow both weeds of fear, resentment, and lack, and the beautiful flowers of gratitude, love, and abundance. You cannot always stop the seeds of weeds from blowing in on the winds of the world, but you, and only you, hold the watering can. Every moment you choose to dwell on a past hurt, you are watering the weeds. Every moment you allow your mind to spin in anxious loops about the future, you are watering the weeds. Conscious integration is not about pretending the weeds do not exist, nor is it about violently trying to rip them out, an act that often strengthens their roots. It is rather the gentle, deliberate, and persistent act of withdrawing your attention, your sacred water, from what you do not wish to grow, and pouring it with lavish devotion upon the flowers of what you do. The simple, disciplined act of cultivating a state of gratitude, of actively looking for beauty, of holding a feeling of peace amidst chaos, is perhaps the most powerful act of reality shaping you can perform. It is the conscious observation that tells the universe which potentials you wish to collapse into your tangible experience. This leads to a deeper practice, one known well to the great mystics like Neville Goddard, the art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. A mere fleeting thought has little creative power, but a thought that is embodied, that is felt as a present tense reality, becomes an irresistible magnet. The language of the subconscious, the great weaver of your reality, is not logic but feeling. To change your world, you must first change the feeling of who you are within it. This is the true purpose of your imagination, not as a tool for idle escapism, but as the sacred workshop where you build the prototype of your desired reality. The practice is to enter a quiet, receptive state, and with all the sensory richness you can muster, to feel in your body, in your heart, what it would be like to be the person who already has what you desire, who already is what you wish to become. You feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude, the security, now. In doing so, you are not pretending. You are performing a profound act of quantum observation. You are selecting a specific frequency from the infinite field of potential and aligning your own being with it, making its manifestation not just possible but inevitable. As you begin to master this inner alchemy, choosing your attention and embodying your desired feeling state, the universe will begin to speak back to you, to affirm that your inner shift is being registered. This feedback arrives in the form of synchronicity. These are the meaningful coincidences, the road signs from the cosmos that let you know you are on the right path. The right person calls at the perfect moment. You overhear a conversation that contains the exact answer to a question you've been pondering. You see symbols or numbers that hold personal significance for your journey. These are not random occurrences of luck. They are the responsive echoes from the universal mirror, reflecting your new inner state back to you. They are the universe winking, confirming that it has received your new frequency and is rearranging itself to match it. Learning to recognize and trust these synchronicities is how you navigate your conscious partnership with reality. It transforms life from a monologue of striving into a beautiful, flowing dialogue between your inner world and the outer cosmos, each informing and shaping the other in a sacred creative dance. We have journeyed together from the quiet, questioning corners of your own experience to the farthest, most bewildering shores of quantum reality and back again, into the deep, mythic landscapes of the soul. We began with a feeling, a subtle intuition that the world you perceive is not a fixed and separate stage upon which you are merely a player, but something far more mysterious, more fluid, more intimately connected to the quality of your own inner being. We have explored the core themes that underpin this mystery, the profound truth of consciousness as the universal observer, of reality as a shimmering field of infinite potential, and of your own focused thought as the potent, alchemical force that calls forth form from the formless. Through the symbolic narrative of the great dreamer and the garden of the world, we saw how this cosmic drama unfolds, and how you, as a unique spark of that dreamer, are constantly coloring and co-creating your personal reality through the specific lens of your awareness. And we have grounded this immense vision in the practical daily arts of conscious attention, embodied feeling, and the recognition of synchronicity as the universe's loving, affirmative echo. Now we arrive at the heart of the matter, the final integration of this great secret. The revelation of our journey is this: the observer paradox discovered by physicists in the sterile environment of the laboratory is not just a strange quirk of subatomic particles. It is the fundamental operational law of your own divine nature. And the deep psychological work of Carl Jung's mapping of the archetypes, the shadow, and the vast collective unconscious is not just a theory of the mind. It is the sacred instruction manual, the personal grimoire, that teaches you how to become a conscious and masterful wielder of this universal law. The two are not separate. One describes the cosmic engine, the other teaches you how to hold the key. Your psyche is the control room for your reality. The feelings and beliefs held within the deep structures that Jung described are the very frequencies that tune the quantum field, collapsing endless potential into the specific tangible events and circumstances of your life. This understanding, once truly absorbed into your being, is not just a new piece of knowledge. It is a call to a completely new way of living. It is a transformational call to awaken from the slumber of passive observation and to step into the full power and responsibility of your role as a conscious creator. This is a call to radical self-awareness, to begin watching your thoughts and feelings not with judgment, but with the keen, loving attention of an artist, observing their palette, knowing that every hue, every texture will contribute to the masterpiece of your days. It is a call to understand that the most potent form of action you can take to change your world is the inner work of healing your wounds, clearing your beliefs, and deliberately choosing the emotional state from which you wish to create. For if the world is your mirror, then the highest form of world service is the sacred act of healing the self. This is therefore an invitation to live as a question, rather than in search of rigid answers. To approach each day with a sense of wonder, asking, what reality am I choosing to energize today? What frequency am I broadcasting into the field? What story is my soul trying to tell through the events that unfold before me? When you live this way, the world ceases to be a collection of random, often threatening occurrences. It becomes a living oracle, a divine partner in a beautiful creative dance. A challenge is no longer a punishment, but a powerful reflection of an inner state ready to be transformed. A synchronicity is no longer a strange coincidence, but a loving affirmation that your inner work is bearing fruit. Your life becomes an ongoing, interactive work of art, a dialogue between your soul and the cosmos. So take this truth and let it settle into the very marrow of your bones. You are immeasurably powerful, not in the ego's sense of control, but in the soul's sense of conscious participation. The universe is not speaking to you, it is speaking as you. The reality you experience is its flawless, non-judgmental response to the signal you are consistently transmitting through the sum total of your being. Therefore, tend to your inner garden with the utmost care. Cultivate thoughts of beauty, feelings of gratitude, and the profound, quiet peace of knowing who you truly are. Pick up the brush of your attention. Compose the symphony of your emotions. Dream your world awake, with intention, with love, and with the sacred awareness that the very gaze that gives form to the distant stars is the same creative consciousness that looks out right now through your own precious human eyes.